should be able to save these if I keep them covered.
Good morning, everybody. How we doing today? This thing, it's life. Hope everything's going well for you. Now, today's positive affirmation. It's in the. I am guided in my every step by Spirit who leads me toward what I must know, and that one seems a little sketch. I'm gonna say sketch. Guided by a spirit. Sounds like help. Which, I mean, if it makes you feel better, you do you. But I'm much more of a let's find somebody who's actually gonna help me than trying to pray for him. Good morning, HK. How are you? Well, I guess it's good evening where you are. Did you catch it in time for the positive affirmation today? I know, I wish I could pin that. Chat rules. I don't know. But I'm glad you got to catch it. There should be a way to pin it. Right? I mean, and like, there's an option. Like, I can pin yours. For 20 minutes, it's going to be pinned at the top. There should be a way to pin it. I've now pinned that. Maybe you can pin me? I'm not sure how that works. Did I ever make you a moderator? Be able to pin. I don't know how you do it on the app. I want to say it's like press and hold, long press and hold the message. No Hat Monday, right? Oh, me. I've got marijuana seeds that are ready to go in. I've got the garden tour. Let's see if I can remember how to do the garden tour. There we go.
At night, I hope.
Apparently,
Here's one we lost. Came out to check on the cucumbers this morning. I put these containers over them last night because I think they're getting eaten by caterpillars that I found in the paper last night. So theoretically, I should be able to save these if I keep them covered at night, I hope. Let's see, here's one we lost. And the mulch is not really good for the plants.
I only did cucumbers today.
Theoretically, I should be able to save these if I keep them covered at night, I hope.
It's coming along. It's coming along. I'll see if I can do a more thorough tour
And the mulch is not really good for
today
the plants.
or tomorrow.
It's fresh mulch. So nitrogen is being broken down, and you need nitrogen to grow things. So
I haven't looked at them today, and I'm kind of scared because I'm gonna be mad if they all die. Last year they all died. You had to buy plants from a store that were established and redo, and I was like, this is weird. But I guess you need enough plant survival to be able to like survive the bugs. Like the caterpillars can eat one leaf of the 20 on a plant and be fine, but a seedling only has 3. So if it eats one, a little much.
Keep them covered at night, I hope.
And I mean, I've been conditioning the soil for the past 2 years, so I hope they turn out better this. The cucumber, I mean, the tomatoes I grew over here last year, but I only had 2. This year I have 12. So I'm probably gonna have to put some fertilizer on. Oh, show. But it's okay. That's what I do. I cultivate these plants to be cool. Hey Silver, how's it going? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Off to work here, getting ready for, I'm sure. Also, I posted a video about the Furthest Frontier yesterday. $150 play hours and 1,600 population. I got to yesterday, which they have a population cap for 1,000, and I now know why. At a stoplight. I feel like you should not be twitching and driving, but thank you for your support. That's pretty funny. Be safe out there, man. That would break my heart to hear that you got in a car accident watching my stream. That would really. Ugh. I appreciate the support. When are we gonna play Endless Space, HK? We need to either I'm gonna have to get up early or you're gonna have to stay up late. I mean, I'm up fairly early in the morning. But rarely am I sitting in front of my computer till about 9 o'clock. You know, I've got things to do. Gotta feed the dogs. Gotta check on the plants, do the rounds, and water stuff, and trim stuff, and weed stuff, and weed eat, and it's kind of constant. It's kind of constant. But not as much as it could be like if I was working a full 9 to 5, 8-hour job. It would different. I mean, I probably put in 8 hours of worth of work on the farm every day, but I don't do it in a solid 8-hour run. My ADHD is best done in limited little pairs. Like, I do it until I'm tired of doing it, and then I start something else. That's how it works. I don't know if y'all been keeping up with the news lately, but the Iran and drone attack on Israel last night sent 300 drones to Israel, and they shot most of them down over Jordan airspace because they were slow moving. I'm not like, can you imagine how much 300 drones costs? I mean, I just can't think Iran is like a super wealthy country. Although I don't know. Is that making me racist? GD. Iran has a $413 billion GDP. Racist was probably the wrong word. Probably Americanist. Just assume we're just country in the world and nobody else has got any money. But I mean, Iran, That's a big number. I bet $400 billion can buy a lot of drones. I did not realize. Looks like they've had a big increase since 2020. Their net value is it's twice. They were at 239 billion money. Now they're up to or oh. And they are 42nd in GDP globally and 19th per capita. Population's on a steady increase. The GDP growth rate fluctuates a lot, apparently. And Israel's only worth 525 billion, so it's not like Iran and Israel. Great deal amount different. Russia's GDP is up to 2.24 trillion. Also, probably cheaper to lose drones versus guided missiles, yeah, right? Or pilots, planes. I think we should outlaw them as far as the Geneva Convention goes. Obviously, it's warfare, people are going to do what they want to do. I think we should outlaw drones as the Geneva Convention. It's not worth you sending your own people across a border to possibly lose their lives, then you shouldn't be trying to murder these other people. This drone situation has gotten so detached, and the only people that are suffering from drone attacks are the people of the country. And that's not really how wars are supposed to work. Like, the Geneva Convention rules are designed to protect the civilian population during and how you treat your soldiers during war. It's like, you shouldn't be able to torture a soldier to death or just for months on ends just because you think he might have some intel. That's waterboarding. That's outlawed by the Geneva Convention, that kind of thing. Drones. Seems like that seems like the beginning of the real end. You got a country like Iran who just produced 300 drones. Like, how many people would 300 drones kill if they had just decided to murder their own population? Say the wrong dictator takes over in Iran, and then suddenly all the, I don't know, one particular religion he doesn't like and decides to use drones to murder them all. He could do that from his office. I do not think this is wise. But no one has listened to me on any of these things that I do not think is wise. As much as I love science, I often think that they think more of can they rather than should they. Like, I don't know, I keep going back to the gene modifying thing, but I really feel like in 20 years, we're going to be talking about genetically modified babies. And that is a slippery slope. Because then you start literally putting a value. Like, if you have a person who has, like, autism, HD, one of these neurodivergent situations, and we can take that out of people because we feel like it's like a negative trait, but I kind of think like my ADHD is a superpower, not a detriment. I can do many things at one time, and pretty effortlessly, many things at one time. So it's not like, I mean, I see other people don't think the way I think, struggle to multitask, and it's like, are they the ones that's better with me? Like, shouldn't it be better to be able to do multiple things at one time? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been on worksite or something, and they've been like, all right, well, here's your task, go get this done, and I'll come back like an hour or two early before everybody else on the team, and they're like, how did you get all this done? And I was like, well, I just, took a few moments to organize my thoughts and decide which one of these things I'm going to prioritize, and, But you can do multiple things. Like, just because I went to the hardware store to get screws doesn't mean I can't also get the hammer I need while I'm there. Like, People who have linear thinking would go to the hardware store, get the screws, and then go back to home base and find out what their next instruction is. Where people who have like broader scope thinking are thinking, can I get the screws? What else do I need at the hardware store I'm going? Are we gonna need stuff to put the screws in? Should we save the trip? Or is this just, some other person's got a high level, big picture, but doesn't know how to make that all happen in one time? So that's a thing. But yeah, that's where I'm scared of the gene editing situation. Also in the news, Donald Trump's supposed to start his trial today. Fingers crossed. I hate to even talk about it, but I will because I need to vent about it myself. I have cousins who are Trumpers, and we have conversations about it. I don't want to say that I'm like for Trump. I think Trump's a pretty awful person, but I understand why people vote for Trump because they're looking for an anti-establishment. They're looking for anybody who hasn't been in politics for some new change, some person who will actually represent their ideals. I don't think Trump is that person, but Trump portrays himself as that person. So my biggest problem with Trump is that he is portraying himself as whatever the person in front of him wants to hear. He's just going to do whatever he wants when he gets in office. Like, they're talking about this national abortion ban, and he literally said, oh, well, I can't sign a national abortion ban because it would cost me the election. Which, I guess I kind of respect. Like, he was pointing out, saying, like, I can't do that. The other half of the country doesn't believe in it enough for me to make that a thing. And that I kind of respect. But I don't think that's the motivation he's saying it from. But it could be. I don't really know him like that. So, we're all biased. We're all subject to our news sources. Bottle yourself up into one news source. You're going to get one perspective of news. That's why I think it's good that you listen to both sides. Like, Fox News is crazy, and I don't know how they're still in the air. I think they tell all kinds of lies, and I feel like they lead you down paths by asking stupid questions and not actually giving statements a lot. So I hate to watch them because they're awful. But if that's the only news source you got, I don't think you would know that they're awful. That worries me about propaganda. Controlled opposition. That's why they're... I'm not sure and I assume you mean Fox News. Controlled opposition, meaning they're trying to... Like, Fox News is trying to control the opposition, or they're trying to control people they already have under their watches? Because they already have a huge market share. During the first quarter of 2024, FNC delivered 95 of the top 1 telecasts in cable news for the entire quarter. In a total day, Fox News Network 1,007,000 views. 156 with a 25 to 50. 100,000 with 89. Of course, there's definitely an article right below it by Fox News. It's like, Fox News channel crushes CNN, NBC combined in total day. Many people watch Fox. And as far as I'm concerned, it's definitely the worst. But CNN and MSNBC are both guilty of doing the same kind of stuff. Like, I really feel like the 24-hour news networks are just not it. It's not it. Yep. I don't know that there's anything I can do about any of that at this point. I will indeed cast my vote in November, but it probably will not be for Trump or Biden. I will probably vote Libertarian. I mean, and Libertarians are a little too far down the freedom side for me. Fair. I love that their 100% freedom stance is where they're going for, and I think it would be great to have somebody in a leadership authority position that is only about freedom, all about freedom. So, like, if you got a Democratic-controlled Senate and a Republican-controlled House, they create a bipartisan legislation, and the freedom guy goes, nah, that's not, you're hurting people's rights. I would be like, that's good. Glad there was somebody to say, nah. I mean, but on the same sword, like the vaccine thing, I mean, when they were making people wear masks and vaccines and things for COVID, I agreed with that, and I thought, yes, that should be done. People are stupid and won't just do it because you ask them. But freedom. On the same double-edged sword, you can't tell people what they can and can't do with their body. Tattoos, piercings, abortions, vaccines, medical procedures. It's your body. You can do whatever you want to do with it. Is a double-edged sword. But freedom. And I could see myself running for office and having this really complicated, like, discussions about this. Be like, so what about gun control? Can and can't tell people what they can own. I would repeal a whole lot of legislations. Like, let's get the warning labels off all this stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Some things I think we are a little too extra with this, but I don't know if that's probably a double-edged sword too. Gotta put it on something, gotta put it on everything. Or expiration dates on food. I would love to see those changed, reworked. Something of that sort. I don't know what the plan is there, but I know we have so much food waste in America right now. I also know that they passed a Good Samaritan law, which changed the way nonprofits work food, which is really, really good, because I used to work in the restaurant industry, and I saw how much food we trash every day. Let me talk about garbage bags on garbage bags. And that's something somebody could eat, and there's people dying of starvation in the world, in the country. Like, we have the ability to freeze stuff, drop it off in a bag full, like a cooler full of dry ice, and mail it to Africa. Like, you remember when we were kids that you have to eat your plate, there's a starving third world kid in Africa, you have to mail it to it. We could do that now. Like, we could literally take all this extra food in America, freeze it, airdrop it over Gaza right this second, and glad to have it. Right. I mean, it was kind of a joke. Warning labels. When I said that, I'm like, get rid of it, because then you're like, but then people can put whatever they want to put in it. I like the nutrition labels. I'm a big fan of the nutrition labels, and you have to put the ingredients of what's actually in the package. I'm a fan of those. But these things, like the cigarettes, warning may cause cancer. I mean, I'm not a cigarette person. I don't think you should use cigarettes. I don't think you should smoke. But as an American, you have a right to do so. So, double-edged sword is what I'm saying. Like gun control, I don't think people should have AK-47s or semi-automatic rifles. I really think that should be like a limit to a gun per minute ratio. Like, how many times can you fire and load this gun physically within a minute? Let's have that number under 5. I'd like less than 5 bullets a minute, please. Anything other than that should be illegal. Because, as my dad said, when teaching me how to hunt, If you need more than one bullet to do it, you're not doing it right. And if you're trying to fight back the military, and you got 100 well-armed citizens with their guns that shoot 5 bullets, that's gonna at least give a government pause. Like, they could still run you over with tanks and blow you up with drones, but that would probably make the news. It's not really about the, ability to defend yourself. It's the ability to organize. So, you know, there's 1,000 people standing in front of the White House being like, no! That's how you get some stuff done. You don't have to go guns anymore. Because those people that are holding the guns are your friends and neighbors. Like, they're also American. That's what I really don't get. We had a civil war. We still, are we taking down the statues and people have forgotten that we had a civil war and we could just go right back to that? Why would that make them pause? Because of the number of people. Like Tiananmen Square. Even China, a communist country, when they had a protest and they killed thousands of people, it's in history books. That made the world stand up and take notice. Like, oh, what are they doing over there? Like, yeah, people die. But I mean, that's the whole point. If it gets to a point where you really are fighting for your lives, the number of guns and ammo you have is not really irrelevant. You need world aid. You need somebody from like a higher authority to come save you. If you look at the the revolutionary situation in France, 1800s, they didn't have guns. You were talking about, you got the the peasants rise up. The people who make all the things stop making guns and ammo for the government to enforce. Like, government is only exists because we, the people, believe it exists. Like, the Supreme Court up here making laws and tell us what we can and can't do with our body. If you don't have a police officer who would enforce that, like, it wouldn't work. I mean, are you going to take somebody to jail? Like, you have to send a police officer to some doctor's house that probably, like, in my local community, there's only 5 police officers. That's all, I know them all by name. If they were going to come to my house, they would have to be like, hey, Sean, let's go to jail. I'm like, nah. I don't think they're going to shoot me if I just refuse to go. So, I mean, I think we should revolutionize, but I believe it should be done with taxes. Like, I think we should all just start paying someone else our taxes and be like, you know what? This government is not working for us. You're fired. We have decided to create a new one with people who represent our interests, and y'all motherfuckers can just retire. Bye, bitch. See you. Everybody in Congress who is over the retirement age should be asked to retire. And that's probably why Nikki Haley wanted to raise the retirement age so she could run for office more. That's all I feel about it. And that's right, she said that. She said that. We're going to have to raise the retirement age to reflect the longevity of life now. What do they call it? The lifespan? Life expectancy? I was like, wow! You're already, like, the whole model of expecting people to work until they're 62 and then be able to enjoy their retirement. Like, how long do you expect them to live? At 62, do you expect them to world travel? Do you expect them to, like, do all the things that you missed in life? And then they send arms tax agents to your house to collect their taxes. Uh-huh. Sure will. And me and those 5 police officers will probably take those tax collectors out. This is rural America. I didn't realize that, like, the vast majority of people live in, like, cities and such. But I mean, like, if a tax collector, he'd have to be very well armed to come to my door and rob me. It's rural America. And not to mention, my neighbors would certainly be down. They'd be like, nah, we didn't see nothing. Some fresh tilled earth in my backyard, but you don't have a right. No, you won't. You really don't believe I would defend myself? I already don't pay taxes. To be fair, I have not filed taxes in like 10 years. They ain't done shit to me. They've tried to put liens on my wages before they could like electronically take my taxes, and then I just quit. Waiting tables. They only pay you $2.13 an hour in Virginia. Like my paychecks were $30. I told them to come take it from my cold dead hands. Still here. I don't own anything. I have nothing in my name. I kind of basically live in the middle of nowhere. Squat basically. And things you just don't own land. I've got to a point where we just don't own land like that. Like I wish maybe I should have been born Native American. I kind of wish I was born Native American before, like maybe in enough time to be before America would have landed. Let me live in Native America for Columbus. At least a whole generation, so I don't have to like live in. I still think if I ever have to go to court over it, I have legal precedence. Taxation without representation. That's where we're at. Is we're in a world with taxation without representation. Because those people in Washington do not represent the interests of people. And I mean, I get it. Like, I'm not gonna vote for Trump because he's a crazy person, but I'm not gonna vote for Biden either because he's a Democrat. I mean, it's not like Democrats are just, I feel like, are just too willy-nilly with my money. Like, with my things, with my items. They would, like, socialism sounds great in theory. And maybe once we get robots that are doing all, like, the crap jobs, then it might work. Then it really might work. Because I don't know how you switch to socialism when you're still going to have the guy who has to go and, like, muck out your septic system. Like, nobody enjoys doing that. They do it for money. And they might not hate it, but I just can't imagine anybody being like, the smell of shit in the morning. Let's go to work, you know. Or the guy who has to, like, crawl in the holes and ungunk oil rig things. Or, I mean, there's like, you've seen Dirty Jobs. There's tons of people who do that show, Dirty Jobs. And you're like, they're valuable people. But if you went to a socialist economy where you didn't have to do all these gross jobs, would you? Maybe somebody. I mean, I'm sure there are some people out there. I feel like we have a hard enough time finding people to do jobs now when they're paid. I mean, like, California just raised the minimum wage for fast food workers $20 an hour. And they probably still can't get staff, because who wants to work in fast food? And for $20 an hour, you can go do something else. I wonder how long it's going to be before, like, the dollar is like the yen. We're like, oh, this candy bar cost us $1,000. It's crazy. Gone down the rabbit hole today, haven't we? Probably because I listened to the news before this, and it always makes me mad. And today's positive affirmation was weird. I don't know if you missed that one. I am guided in my step by a spirit who leads me towards what I must know and do. I don't know about all that. As somebody who's not a person, I don't think that's me. But I mean, they didn't say it in a religious way. It does say by a spirit who leads me towards what I must know. I often say that the way life is the way it's supposed to be. Doesn't mean that you can't control or change or affect your life. Doesn't mean that you don't have, what's the word? Control over where your life is going. But things happen the way they're supposed to happen. And you're only controllable. You can only control how you respond, how you react, and how you treat the others in the process. How you treat others in the process. I often get lost in these small town politics. I'm just envisioning. I like the book series I read, the Wheel of Time series. One of the I guess the whole first book. Only control what you can control. Yep, that's Sharon's favorite saying. Control the controllables. But the book series I'm reading, they have a town called the Two Rivers, and it's full of stubborn people that have never seen a tax collector pretty much their whole life because they live so far away from the kingdom. It's medieval times in Wheel of Time. And so the first tax collector that came through, they were all just like, we're not paying taxes. And then the second time he came through with armed people, and they killed him. And the soldiers, they poisoned him. Yeah, come on to the inn. They just poisoned him. Buried him in the backyard. The whole town was like, nope. Never saw him, never heard of him. Yeah, come on in. We just made a fresh roast. Oh, it'll be so good. Come on in. Y'all eat up. Have some beer. Yeah. Buried in the backyard. Never saw him. I mean, I guess it wouldn't work out today because technology. They'd be like, well, GPS says they're buried in your backyard. I mean, right? Wasn't there? There was definitely have been several cults over the years who've attempted to just like get off government land, not do that. I want to remember there was one in like Wyoming where they had like a shootout and a whole bunch of people, and I mean like a lot of people died in that one. I don't think they went quietly when they came. And then it makes you wonder, why was that even worth it? Like, how much money did you make off this one farm in the middle of the tax thing? But it's like, they have to keep up appearances. You can't just let somebody not pay taxes, because then other people. Although I want y'all to look up how much legally Donald Trump paid in taxes. Remember, that came out. $750 he paid 1 year. And he's a billionaire. Wouldn't it make more sense to just make sure that people like in the billionaire situation are actually paying their taxes than come and find little old random nobodies that owe you a couple $1,000s collectively? I don't know. I'm kind of ready for the apocalypse. Fair. Kind of ready. Some days. My computer just asked me if I wanted to turn off notifications from setup. Hope I'm not getting hacked. I just had to do a full factory reset on my computer not long ago. Which, I feel like you ought to do about every year anyway. Maybe that's for somebody who uses a computer constantly. I had to go through and cleaned it out. I sprayed off, like, you should have seen all the dust coming out of my desktop. Ugh. No, it's much more cost-effective to track down and collect on those with fewer resources to fight back. I mean, fewer legal resources. The people are gonna rise up, just like the bourgeoisie. That's how that's gonna work. Is we're gonna stop feeding them. The dust stop. We're gonna stop feeding them. Like the people who are making all the food. Like, have you seen all the farmer protests in Europe? I mean, stop making food for people, or stop selling it. Like, oh yeah, sure, you can have all the taxes on all the food that I'm not selling this year. I'm just gonna stay at home and eat all my food. Y'all, good luck the rest of y'all. Like, they put so many taxes on selling food in Europe that they're gonna put the farmers out of business. Like, why would farmers farm? Well, like, why would you sell your crops if you don't make any money off of it? Like, it gets too, like, if you go to a farmer's market and they've put, like, a 50% tax on your goods, it's more expensive than you would get it in the supermarket. And, like, they're trying to put farmers out of business, and I'm like, that's stupid, because then you won't have anybody growing food. But they want it all controlled by a mega corporation. You gotta go to work and punch a clock, so they can keep track of where you are at all moments of all days, of all seconds. I still can't believe they couldn't find anybody who wanted to run for president. The No Labels Party, nobody wanted to do it. And I'm like, ow! Nobody wants to be president? Like, I would do it, but nobody would pay me. And then I'll be like, you're crazy. They'd show the video of me saying, let's just get rid of the warning labels. And be like, this crazy motherfucker, he ain't doing shit. Like, media controls it all now. Which kills me when you hear people like NPR talking about, like, we don't know how to cover Trump. I just wish they wouldn't. Like, they don't cover every crazy conspiracy theory lunatic out there. Why are you obligated to cover Trump? Because they're still beholden to views and people care about Trump. I bet if I mentioned Trump, that we talked about Trump, in my comment or tag him or whatever, it'll get me more views. I won't do it, but that's what I'm saying. Because the people who like him are viewing him because they want to know what he's saying. They gotta keep their dopamine fix on this guy that's hope. And the people who don't gotta keep saying him because it sensationalizes them. They gotta, like, what did he do this time? Oh, what's going on with him today? Including me. I want to know. Like, I'm on the edge of my seat to see whether we're gonna be in Star Wars or Star Trek in 2024. To be honest with you, I really kind of hope that they both quietly go home to Jesus in their sleep before the election. Both old men, if they just died of natural causes, would anybody be bad? Would anybody be sad? I mean, we might be sad. Like, Joe Biden's done lots of things for the country. Career politician for 30 years. He's at least been dedicated public servant, right? And then there's Trump. He's a businessman. Made lots of millions. Pissed lots and lots of people off. I would not go to his funeral. Unless it was to make sure he was actually dead. But I get it. I'm really, like, I want to say that I'm not trying to badmouth Trump, but I badmouthed Trump before he was the president. Like, that's what I really don't get. Is he's been crazy since before he was the president. Well, why didn't we vote for Arnold Schwarzenegger? At least Arnold Schwarzenegger has decent policies. Probably because he's not a U.S. citizen, can't be president. But he was governor? I don't know how that works. Ugh. Makes my head hurt. I could just move. I hear Canada's nice this time of year. I've been trying to learn Spanish, so maybe I can move to Mexico. I'd probably pick it up quicker if I lived in Mexico. Then you just have to worry about the cartels, but I don't know. You know. I've been target practicing. I read a lot of post-apocalyptic novels, and one of the Alex Fletcher series, it's really, really good. It's an ex-Marine and his family surviving it. Several series. So there's a whole bunch of series. One of them's like a COVID type thing, and one of them's like an EMP. One of them's a tsunami. One of them, like, you know, things that theoretically could happen. And it's interesting stories. But being well prepared is always key to literally surviving anything. Prepared. Might like the Red Rising series. I'm looking for a new book. Oh. I love how it doesn't tell me the book. Can't even get like a book synopsis, please. Ah, good old Wikipedia. Red Rising is a 2014 dystopian science fiction novel by American author Pierce Brown. First book, an eponym of a series. Eponym is a person, a place, or a after whom which someone or something is believed by the objective, which are derived from eponym and eponym. What? An it's oh. Eponym? Like I feel like it's probably a word I know and just not have never seen it written before, and I'm like, what? But then you look at the dictionary. The definition is a person, a place, or a thing after or which someone or something else is believed to be named. Derived objective from which it derived. What? So it's named after something that's supposed to be named after? So Red Rising is something else? Anyway, it's set in the future on Mars. Oh, neat. Follows low-born miner Dario as he infiltrates the ranks of the... Oh, that's cool. Why is it dystopian if it's on Mars? That's so that, like, this is so far in the future that Mars had a... Oh, the epitome. That's how you spell epitome? I don't think that... Yeah, like, this is what I'm talking about. Can't just copy it. Get it to pronounce it for me. Dictionary.com. Why is it?
Eponym.
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 One for whom which something is believed to be named. First book and eponym series. So it's believed to be named of a series. I feel like that they're not using the right word. I mean, it is Wikipedia. That's crowdsourced if I'm still not mistaken. It's dystopian because the society is strictly regimented caste system. So it's basically, was it always like that? Or did Mars get founded and then become dystopian? Maybe I'm thinking dystopian means that it has to have been good at one point. Are subgenres of science fictions that explore social structures. Oh, well, so it's wrong. Utopian fiction portrays a setting that agrees with the author's ethos, having various attributes of other reality intended to appeal to the readers. Dystopian fiction offers people opposite. Oh. Right. I read dystopian fictions because it's worse than what I'm currently. So the series is named Red Rising. This book, Rising. Oh. Like, oh, click, click. Nice. Unlike Song of Ice and Fire, which doesn't share the name of the first book. Yeah, that makes sense. It's named, the series is named after the book. That's why it's named after, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I was like, this is not, I didn't put it together that the series was named Red Rising, as is the first book. Like Iron Druid Chronicles, the first book is Hunted, not the Iron Druid Chronicles. Wow, we learned some new stuff today. I love learning new things. And I might check it out. I might check it out. I finished the one I was reading that was too close to home, the dystopian LGBTQ fan fiction. I don't love fan fiction, and I'm glad it ended well. Maybe even possible for a sequel, but I can't get that in my area because I live in a red state and it's an LGBTQ book. Luckily, I know how to use a VPN, but are we already in dystopian future? So mad, so mad. But it was a good book. But then I'm not sure I want to read more. I think there's a reason I don't read romance novels. I don't think I have ever found love, and I'm not sure I'm capable of finding love. I'm not sure I identify with romance novels well. Probably why I want to get write my own book. Different trains of thought. Whoops. That's how I know what you guys are looking at, is when I switch over to see the live stream. I'm like, oh, whoops. I forgot to change it back. We're just looking at stuff. I mean, I'm supposed to be. They say every 6 seconds they want you to change it to something different, so it adds, like, dynamic movement to your channel. This is the music today. It's actually been the same one for the last 3 days, because this is a 12-hour track that I've just left open and continuously played through. Gotta wonder how often people make it to the 12-hour mark of this playthrough. It looks like they get lots of views at the 8-hour. What? Like, what? You think that's because, like, people are sleeping, like they turn it on to sleep at the beginning, and then, like, their phones time out. We'll wake up in 3 hours, go to the bathroom, look at the thing. Oh, just kidding. And then go back to sleep, and their phone's time out. So they get up in the morning. I actually have 3 monitors. There's my 3rd monitor. It has garden tour videos. I mean, they say changing things. Like, they want, like, you see the graphic that pops up on the screen every once in a while? That's part of the 6-second something moves on the screen. They might like the track at the hour mark. True that. We're gonna find out. Find out if we like that one. Didn't YouTube has the thingy where they ask you still watching? I pay for YouTube Premium, so maybe not me. But I don't get that. And I stand by it. That's the best $13 I ever spent. Because, you know, you get YouTube Music for free when you pay for free YouTube. Like, I don't know why that hasn't killed Spotify. Because that way I can get all the YouTube videos with no commercials. And unlimited free music, no commercials, for $13 a month. Like, okay, YouTube, I'm in. And I think it's the only. No, I have Netflix still too. I mean, I have Prime, but I don't use Prime for streaming because I don't think they occasionally have a good show once in a while, like The Incredible. The Incredible's pretty good. Hi. Sorry. really try not to eat on camera, but stomach has been a little weird lately. Might be because I'm having too much coffee. Trying to get summer body ready, so the coffee and weed diet upsets my stomach. It's empty. See you, Silver. Thanks for being here. Have a great day. Don't work too hard. They'll make the rest of us look bad. So, how's the rest of the stream? Thanks for being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow if you have not already. We appreciate it. We're trying to build the channel, and the more follows I get, which cost you nothing, help me. They help you send the notifications out. They help you with engagement. They help me know like the content I'm producing. If you don't like the content I'm producing, tell me what you want to see. Put it in the comment. Put it in the chat. Here every morning, 9:30, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. And I have a YouTube channel at Fire of Life 2018 as well, where I post the garden tours, where I'm posting other random thoughts throughout the day. So you could enjoy more Sean time, 6-second intervals, in 30-second intervals. YouTube. I play games. You're one of those people who likes to have somebody in the background and running their mouth while you're playing video games. I do that. And I'm starting to understand the dynamic pause. Like, if you're gonna get people's attention, I really need something. I can literally just make silence happen. It seems like suddenly everybody pays attention once there's silence. But the music's so cool. Too chill to skip. I only learned that from doing training classes on Teams. If you really want somebody like to actually answer, you have to stop talking because people just tune it out. You start droning, blah blah blah. But that dramatic exercise at high school when you have a group of people and you want them to sound like they're talking but you don't have dialogue, you tell them to say rutabaga. And you have a whole bunch of people saying that, and it's just like a constant low level. The things you pick up in life, right? I have the idea for a political protest that we're gonna get like 100 people in front of the White House to whisper, "Do you hear the people singing the songs of angry men? People singing the songs again," just over and over and over again, and kind of like, you know, minor harmonics. You can make it really, really creep. I just haven't found 100 friends who'd be willing. Start your sign up today. I'll put the link in the bio. I think I'd be a good protest organizer. But where do you find people that are willing to protest? That's the hard part. And then finding people that you want to deal with. That's, especially for me, that's super the hard. Ugh. But never have to deal with the mass public ever again too soon. Music is chill. It's relaxed movement is the channel. I am subscribed and I have liked it, so sad. And I guess we should probably start wrapping up the stream. Don't forget today's positive affirmation. I am guided in my step by spirit who leads me towards what I must know and do. You can take that with a grain of salt. I don't think I'm gonna make that my affirmation today. I can just... Ooh. I am so many things. Jack of all trades, master of none, which is often better than a master of one. And I think that's a great way to end it. So, goodbye, good night, and we'll see you on the morrow.